Do you even realize just how well set up GALA Games is for a massive bull run over the next year to 2 years? We'll start with this tweet from Trissy. Gaming will be the single largest reason crypto gains mass adoption for its usage. Reasons being is the gamification of financial incentives. DeFi may be the next revolution to disrupt the age-old ways of traditional finance, but gaming will be the catalyst. The gaming industry is set to absolutely explode, and by 2026, it's anticipated that blockchain gaming will reach a market cap of $67.4 billion. But AAA games are not ready to hit the blockchain scene just yet. And I think that they're going to miss the boat by 2026 when we're going to see a massive explosion in value in these projects. And that's why GALA Games is so well established right now where it sits. And in this video, I'm going to discuss further what has been happening at GALA to alleviate any concerns that you might have about GALA and look into the potential future price prediction of GALA and where it sits in the market. So if that sounds good, hit the like button. Let's dive into today's content. So why is gaming the entry point for crypto potentially? What is going on in crypto? Well, I want you to think about this. If you've got friends who don't get involved in crypto, or your parents or your grandparents, whoever that might be, and you try and explain to them the concept of liquidity staking, or try to explain to them the concept of how a blockchain works and these different things, I want you to watch their faces glaze over as they just get confused or bored, or they just really don't care. However, most people have probably played a video game at some point in their lives. No matter whether they liked it or not, they can understand the very simple concept of playing to win something and the reward being a token that you can then go and change into real money or another cryptocurrency. And then they might say, well, where does that money come from? Well, you pay to interact with the game in order to be able to win different rewards. You can then buy different items, and then the more you use them, because of the law of supply and demand, they might become more popular and then someone else will want to buy them. And this is another way in which you can monetize a game. Now, GALA Games is very well set up for this. If you're around in the last bull market, you'll see that GALA Games pretty much exploded within the space of about a month or so, something like a 40x. That's incredible, okay? Within like a month or 2 months, you could have seen a 40x. So $1,000 would have become $40,000. You get the picture, guys. And right now, GALA Games, I want you to notice, pretty much sits back at this level again. Now, GALA Games is centered around gaming, film, music, Galaverse, and is already developing and changing all the time. What's very important to note, okay? Unlike other play-to-earn games, which are just concepts right now, GALA Games has been around for a while, has 28 games, and has already paid out $2.2 billion in rewards to its gamers. It has a very active community of gamers. It is already operating as it should be operating. Now, one of the main concerns when people talk about GALA was the fact that the tokenomics was stacked heavily towards the team, and the team had way too much money and potential for always just dumping and running on the game. However, this news piece over here on Decrypt, GALA Games burns over $600 million worth of GALA tokens. Web3 startup GALA Games said that it has virtually depleted its own treasury to alleviate concerns of a future token sell-off. They have literally burned $600 million of their own cash in order to help the community gain trust in them. What about that doesn't say that this is a community that is here to stay and build itself into a massive platform? What about this doesn't tell you that they are passionate about building a community-driven project, not about making money, okay? They're interested in gaming, and they want to bring gaming around the world to everyone and give everyone the opportunity to make money while playing games. And you're probably going, well, yeah, the games on GALA are not that good. And I would probably say that compared with the likes of AAA games you get from various other industry leaders in gaming, they're not going to be as good, okay? Because those gaming companies have been around for a very long time and they have enormous teams. Now, I'm not massively into the development of gaming. I understand, however, that AAA games take literally years to build. And if we look at this other quote from Trissy here, my bets are placed on the outcome as the initial respark in gaming, simply due to the fact that high-tier games will take 3 to 6 years to build from scratch. Anyone who tells you otherwise doesn't understand how the industry works. That's because these games are extremely complex to create. They take huge amounts of investment and massive teams because there's so much development work that needs to go on. Not only that, but to take these games and build them on chain is also a massive operation. And if we refer back to this Rise of Gaming chart, you will see that we're talking 2026 for the explosion of blockchain games. Now, if we're saying 3 to 6 years for the development of these games, you would argue that being it's now halfway through 2023, that many AAA games are not going to be ready to be hitting that kind of like target level. And why is this particular time in the market likely to see the biggest explosion? Well, someone shared this in the free Telegram, which is linked down below, guys, so make sure you jump in that after this video. There's tons of useful information being shared in there all the time, as well as various special offers. And it's talking about periods to make money. And this is quite obviously quite an old document coming back from 1924. And it shows basically over and over again the cycles of when to invest in various projects. And we can see that currently we're in 2023, which has been clearly labeled here. And then we want to return to B. And B is years of good times, high prices, the time to sell stocks and value of all kind. And that happens there in 2026. That's 3 years away from now. That coincides with the other chart that we've looked at. It also means that people who are building these games have got 3 to 6 years to build these games. However, I don't think many of these AAA games will arrive at this point in time to make the most of this particular cycle. And you're like, well, so what? Well, guys, GALA Games is well set up and established already for this. It's going to be at the forefront, in my opinion, as one of the original largest existing GameFi platforms that's already in operation. It starts to be at the forefront of that massive move into 2026. Now, if you do the maths, you would probably say that 2026 is probably when we're going to see the top of the bull market, maybe a little bit before, and then the rest of the market's kind of like coming behind the Bitcoin bull market. Now, as we look into the GALA chart, guys, obviously we've talked about this surge in price and then fall. Now, obviously, guys, many people would say that this is not very beautiful, right? Because we're really low down. But absolutely, this is where we want to be looking. When everyone else is bored and saying that it's going to keep trickling down towards the downside, this is where we got our best opportunity. And I'm going to make a video slightly later on today about what is about to happen in China that no one really is understanding. People are talking about it, but no one really identifies the key things that are happening in the Chinese economy right now that are going to really drive crypto and Web3 forward, in my opinion. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, and you're going to get that video later on today, guys. So what we can see here, as GALA has been falling after this big pump. We had a nice pump and then we've been falling. Now, if you've watched any chart analysis at all, you'll understand just how bullish a pattern this is. We've obviously seen Bitcoin having a bit of a quiet period as the US continues to play around with interest rates, but I think we're going to see a big shift in that coming very soon. So GALA is actually ripe for what could be a very nice break towards the upside. We are in a great position. So what we can see is we are falling towards the downside. This is what many would call a bull flag, many would call a falling wedge, whatever you want to call it. This is ultimately a very bullish pattern. When we see a break towards the upside like this, okay, now stick with me. We're going to identify whether or not we want to be buying GALA right now or whether we want to hold down. And then I'm going to look at some price predictions for GALA, okay? This is a swing high to a swing low on a Fibonacci. Now, if you've ever looked at these patterns, you'll identify that the prices do tend to turn around somewhere near some of these lines. Now we can see that this is the bottom I've got in down here, but you can see we've bounced off the 786, okay? 786 previously, you can see was resistance an area here. This is on a weekly chart, so we need to zoom in further to understand what we're looking at. Now, what I want to do, guys, before we look at what is happening right this minute, is establish a buy zone for GALA. Now, how do I establish a buy zone? If you're subscribed, you'll know, guys. You see these big candles that push out of this area. So we have a little move towards the side, and then we push out of this area. We also did it here. We pushed out this area. These areas like this indicate a buy zone. This shows me that people accumulate here, and then suddenly the price can't hold at that level anymore, and it gets shoved out of there, okay? What usually happens, though, is when this gets shoved out, and this is why you don't FOMO in, because it tends to come back to the area eventually. And eventually, we get another opportunity. We get another bite of the cherry. So what you can see is everyone FOMOs in and charges into this. It drives it up, but they come back eventually. So what we want to do is we want to draw a box on the top of these wicks down to the bottom of these wicks. And this is going to show us a buy zone that we can get interactive with. And once it returns into a buy zone, then we have an opportunity to buy more of it. Now, there is no guarantee that GALA will reach this buy zone, but we could potentially see a little bit further of a slide. If Bitcoin does slide, then GALA will be sliding along with it. And that down there, you're looking at another 20% drop. Is that a bad thing? Depends, right? If you're in crypto right now, then I don't think it is. I have identified that this is a good area to be buying at. Now, is there a buy zone slightly higher up? I hear you cry. Well, actually, we could say that because we have interacted with this area before, You can see what happened last time we interacted in this area. We got bought up heavily. Now we've come back into this area and you can see we're trying to buy out of it right now. So potentially GALA could bounce from this zone and never reach this zone. But how do I get exposure to there and there? Well, guys, I've talked about this a lot. If I've got $100, I can put in 50 bucks in here. If it slides into this area, then I can put in another 50 bucks. What's beneficial about doing that? Well, it means that if it just bounces from here, then I get money in the game. Okay, I've got skin in the game. However, if it does this, then I'm not just sat for weeks in the red. I can load up more and then I get a better price. Okay, so you can DCA in. However, if you think GALA has a big potential in the future, then obviously just choose your own idea. If you want to invest all now, obviously you're still heavily discounted. How discounted though? Well, in the short term, guys, if we are breaking beyond this level here, which is around 3.2 cents, then you're going to see GALA moving from current prices very quickly. In my opinion, you're going to add around 100% in value. Okay, so it's going to double in value very quickly. Now, obviously, this is going to be a longer term thing, but back to all-time highs, which is where we got to look first. From current levels, you're looking at a 28x. Now, GALA, obviously, guys, bearing in mind the way that crypto grows, I do think that GALA is destined for much bigger things. I think minimum we're looking at is really $1 going forward. Obviously, this is not financial advice. You need to do your own research. But really, can we look at GALA doing maybe a $2, maybe a $3? I mean, conservatively, at $2, I would say that we're looking at a 77x. You really potential for $3 coming in for the next bull market is pretty much your 100x. Now, obviously, I'm not saying to put in all the money you've got right now into GALA and anticipate that it's going to go to $3. If we look at coin market cap, you can see that at all-time highs, it had a market cap of $4.96 billion. Now, we would then need to see a 3.6x on this all-time high price to reach $3 for GALA, which would be $17.9 billion. Remember, that market cap by 2026 of blockchain gaming could be around $67.4 billion, which would be a fairly big chunk of that, I agree, but I genuinely think that GALA has the potential in a crazy bull market to achieve some crazy prices. But obviously on the way up, you need to be taking profits, okay? You don't just sit in these coins forever and just hope for your 100x on everything you've invested in. If you put in $100 and it does 100x, and you sit in there the whole time, more good for you, but I anticipate that you probably want to take profits along the way because you never know when it's going to turn around. Remember all those people who waited for it to hit $1 before when it hit 83 cents and are probably still in there right now at the same price they got in at, rather than cashing out and taking some profits off the table. Guys, today is the last chance for you to win a Commonwealth NFT worth 0.9 Ethereum, which is around $1,650. In order to win one, guys, you've got to get into the whitelist, which is this document in the tiny URL link down below. All you got to do, guys, is write the name of the influencer, the House of Crypto, which is obviously me, then your ERC20 wallet, so that if you win the NFT, they can send it to you through there. You follow them on Twitter, also follow Nebula Agency, and then just add your Twitter handle, submit, and you are entered, and you could potentially win an NFT worth $1,650. As well, they have a Genesis 2 NFT mint, and there's literally 15 hours left on this, guys, in order to mint your Series 2 NFT for just $99. And this NFT is basically going to give you access to a Web3 hedge fund where you can invest alongside other experts in projects absolutely passively and earn a passive income just by holding this NFT. It's also going to invite you into like an alpha community for Web3 trading and crypto going forward. It's a really heavily publicized project right now. There's so much opportunity within this space. So I recommend you jump to the Commonwealth link as well and pick up an NFT today for $99 because you're going to run out very soon. Just hit the mint button. There's not that many left, guys. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Remember, you must fill out that form if you want to be in with a chance of winning that prize as well. All can be found in the link down below in the description. Guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you're new to the channel, then subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.